recent times, there were 3 incidents which happened, which brought to the forefront or brought to light the ideology on women and the conduct of women and what a woman ought to be in Sri Lankan society. One of the incidents was this girl who was murdered and her body thrown in a public place, and the person who was arrested was a boyfriend. And whether he committed or not, the murder, whether he committed or not, is a secondary question to me. The primary question which I want to raise or discuss is the discourse which happened on social media soon after the murder of this girl. The other incident was a member of a political party which has its origins in the left, and he addresses a group of nurses who are predominantly women, a group of women workers, I would say, and he displayed or said certain sexist statements which objectified women. And soon after the speech, how several members, including women from that political party, came to justify his conduct towards women workers. The third incident is clubs in the capital city of Sri Lanka, Colombo, where using this time of to come out of this economic or their slump, the economic crisis, they have started advertising, asking women to come into their clubs and bars, business establishment, for women to come into these spaces so that would attract men also to come into these establishments. So women are used as a business tool or an object to attract men into bars and clubs, which has become expensive because of taxation on alcohol and so on. So I want to speak about these 3 incidents because these 3 incidents are telling of the ideology and what our society at large thinks of women or views women as. When the girl was murdered 2 days back, when she was murdered and her body was thrown in this public place and her boyfriend was arrested for this alleged incident, the discourse which happened on social media was not in sympathy for the girl who was murdered. Immediately there were stories and assumptions which were drawn on the character of the woman. She must have cheated on her boyfriend and that is why he murdered her. She must have done something. She must have irritated him. She must have conducted herself in such a way. She must have been a bad woman and that is why she was murdered. Immediately, social media commentators jumped on portraying this woman as a bad woman, as an immoral woman, and therefore she has a right to be murdered by her masculine boyfriend, who is entitled to violence towards a woman because a woman conducted herself in a particular way. And this is not the first time such a discourse has happened. Few months back, there was a cricketer in Sri Lanka who had raped a woman in a foreign country, and this is not the first time sexual allegations has been put on him. But the discourse which happened in social media was that it was in support of his conduct. Why did she go and date him if she already knew that he was violent? If he was already conducting himself in a violent way, in an odd way, why did she go with him to his house? So if a woman walks, the discourse is that if a woman walks into a man's house when the man is drunk after consuming alcohol, automatically she is consenting to have sexual intercourse with him, and afterwards she should not come and complain even if he had tried to rape her, even if he had tried to strangle her. So the discourse on the conduct of women, what is a good woman, what is a bad woman, what is the role of a woman in a relationship, is that the man has a right to express untamed emotions and passions, and the woman should adjust herself in such a way to not provoke him, because that is masculinity. A femininity is that we adjust ourselves to whatever men puts on us, and this is the same discourse which happens inside domestic violence. For instance, when a woman is beaten and she runs to the police station for help, husband means it's like that, he would beat and then he would hug you. So don't come to the police station and break the marriage. Why are you breaking the marriage? Why are you putting your children in trouble by breaking the marriage? And the woman is bleeding, and they would say this. So this discourse about women and relationships and the power dynamics between man and woman and what a woman is expected to do inside a relationship has been so toxic that women have paid with their lives, which is what we saw 2 days back. This is in connection with how ideology is created. Once again, a few days back, a very prominent politician thought it was fine to go on public, to go to a meeting consisting of women workers and talk about fantasizing about uniforms, fantasizing about women in public. He decided to express his fantasies in a public space without any kind of self-restraint. And that was fine for him, and that was fine for so many other people, including women in his political parties. And you saw these women workers just sitting there cringing, and he continued to make these sexist comments, make these comments objectifying women, and that was perfectly fine for so many other people. And so many other women in the political parties came out and said, yes, it was a mistake, we need to learn from the mistake and move on. But the issue is, was it actually a mistake? A man coming and expressing his sexual fantasies in a public place is not the right. A woman would never do that. If a woman does that, then she would be termed as a hoe and a prostitute, and the amount of criticism which would be leveled on the woman's character would be unimaginable. But even leaving that out, why did a man feel so entitled and so confident to come to a public space and objectify women? And why were women feminists in that political party? Why did they think that it was okay, and why did they think that they needed to come out and justify it? Why did they not hold this person accountable inside the party and make sure that the party issued an apology, which is what the party should have done, which claims to be supporting women, which canvasses, and this is during an election time. Why did, and the fact that this member of the leader of this or one of the main members of this political party decided to come and make these sexist comments during an election when they should be canvassing votes for women is telling of how disposable women are even in the political equation, and how little women and women's autonomy and women's dignity is considered even during an election campaign. And the third incident is, which is also connected to all of this, is how when a country goes into an economic downturn, we have heard of incidences where women go into sex work. But now we are also hearing where business establishment use women as objects to lure men, and those are the words which I want to use, using women to lure men into pubs. Women come free, women are free of charge, come and dance the night away. Men, you can come and watch women dance. This is the language which has been used by pubs and establishment. So imagine the sexual violence which goes on in these pubs and establishment, in these drinking places. And the complete, even before you enter the space, you know that you are going to be unsafe, because the code of ethics of that business establishment is that you invite women to be a business tool, a marketing tool, to get men in so that they would come and consume alcohol, or they would come and promote their business. And all of these three incidents, and of course there are other incidents where recently a woman was hacked to death when she decided to stand for elections. During the last parliamentary election, in a political party, 2 women who decided to contest were completely sexualized and objectified by mainstream media. And the political party goes on as normal. Men heading the political parties now act as if nothing has happened, and the women are just women who stood for electoral politics, and they are completely sidelined now. So sadly, I mean, in all societies, in many societies in the world, even in Western societies, where sometimes portrayed to be progressive, but even in Western societies, you found men like Andrew Tate coming out and expressing violence. In his every word, it's violence towards women. And he says it in such a confident and self-explanatory way. So many young men get influenced by it, and they think it's okay to repeat these sexist comments, repeat these stereotypical views of women, and it's okay to be violent towards women even within a relationship. So, of course, these are just 3 incidents. We have to look at it in a social and political context. But I have always said this, that if we want to come out of violence, women have to band up together. It does not matter if you're in different political parties. If your political party, if a member of your political party, a leader of your political party comes out and makes such sexist comments about women, it's not about you trying to save your political party from embarrassment. If one of your friends is committing violence towards a girl he is dating, if your friend is a married man and he completely talks about his wife in a sexist manner in a space where there are no women, then it is your job as a man, as a woman, your job is to stop that. Because that is where violence starts. Violence does not start with rape. Violence starts with a sexist comment. Violence starts with normalizing violence on women. Violence starts with making jokes about violence on women, like what Donald Trump did during his election campaign. That is where violence starts. So if you do not confront that at that point, if you do not block it, and if you're creating excuse for that conduct, then we should not be self-righteous and shouting about a girl who got raped and who got killed. Don't come out and show slogans and show support for victimized women when they get raped and then when they get abused and when they die of abuse. Because you have already supported violence. We have already supported violence on women through commentary, through social media commentary, by remaining silent on social media commentary, by remaining silent in political discourses about women.